Just checking my audio. You can hear me. Can you just message on the chat? And also, can you hear any music at the background? Want to double check? Okay. So good evening, everyone. For those who are here, I hope that you can share our live discussion. So let's help each other. And my goal is really to reach out to those who cannot really attend any review classes. I hope that you can share this to them so that to help them to have a better chance of making it to UP. So last time around, we were able to discuss up to question number 5. Question number 5. Although you can see already on my background for question number 6, but I already gave out the answers already. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, still working on the technicalities. So today we'll be trying to discuss a few more UPCAT math questions, and definitely the questions that you will see here are very likely to come out in the actual UPCAT. This is due to our years of experience in helping people to review for the college entrance test. So we review students for UP, for Ateneo, for LaSalle, and for UST. The name of the review center is Achi and Aya Incorporated. We are located in San Juan, Metro Manila, but we do also have online classes. Okay, so you can just message me or you can message us on any of our social media accounts. So this is our giving back to everyone for the UPCAT math. Okay, are we all ready? If you're ready, can you type on the chat that I am ready? Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let us begin then.
Forecast number 6.
Okay, so for forecast question number 6, we'll be having the evaluating and simplifying of radicals. So I hope that you are okay dealing with radicals, and I hope you have your pen and paper ready with you. So I'm not sure if you have tried to answer the question earlier because you can see it at my background here. But still, I'll give you maybe 30 seconds for those who have not tried to answer. Okay, 30 seconds then. So let's reveal the answer for those who weren't able to see the answer earlier. Okay, the answer here is your letter B. We're able to get the answer. Let's try to go over this question. So we have here square root of 27 minus square root of 150 plus square root of 48 minus square root of 24. By the way, can you give me an idea whether my handwriting here is too small? Should I write bigger? Okay lang. Okay, just enough. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, to solve this, we just need to work on some magic in a way. In trying to simplify, for example, square root of 27. Although 27 should not be the problem, I think, to majority. But the strategy in general, there should be a factor that is a perfect square. Otherwise, there's nothing that you can do with all these numbers here. Now, for us to be able to do that faster, the strategy here is really to know what are the perfect squares that you can have. Okay. So, for example, here we have, say, we know that we'll start with 2, no? 2 square is equals to 4. 3 square is equals to 9. 4 square is equals to 16. 5 square is equals to 25. 6 square is equals to 36. And of course, so on and so forth. So square root of 27 will therefore have to be the 9, which is the 3 square. That's like square root of 3 square. And then we still have the 3 left inside. How about 150? What factors of 150 can you have? Of course, it will have a factor of 5. So 25 times 6, that will be 150. That this is actually 5 square times 6. That's a strategy that we can go about. Now, how about for 48? That will be 16 times 3. So that's going to be 4 square times 3. And 24, that will be equals to 4 times 6, or simply 2 square times 6. So from here, you can actually now become 3 square root of 3 minus 5 square root of 6 plus 4 square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 6. Okay, so how do we simplify these radicals? The radicals are just like variables, are just like we're talking about apples and oranges. No? So when you have 3 square root of 3, it's like 3 apples. 5 square root of 6, the 6 will be orange. Square root of this is another set of apples, and this is now orange. So you now have 3 apple plus 4 apple. How many apples do you have now? You will now have 7 apples, which is 7 square root 3. While on the other hand, you have negative 5 oranges, you have negative 2 oranges. that's a total of negative 7 oranges. So that's why, if notice that you have a common factor of 7, and look at the choices here, they actually have factored out the 7 here. So that will be left with square root of 3 minus square root of 6. That's why the answer here is your letter B. We're good with this? Okay, so let me give you another question that is similar to this one. Okay, so try this question. Okay, few more seconds. Okay, so time's up. Can you write down your answers on the screen? Can you write down your answers? Can you check? Naubusan ng time. Okay, that's why practice will still be needed. Okay. By the way, is the background music okay with you, or is it disturbing? Can you help me out? Okay, it's okay. Okay, then good. Okay, the answer here is your letter A. Okay, very good. Achitea, thank you. So for this one, so same as earlier. So what do we do? With square root of 20, 20 can be 4 and 5. So therefore, the 4 is the perfect square of 2. So that we can bring out the 2. So 2 times 2 is now 4, and we'll be left with 5 inside. For 45, it's 9 and 5. So that's a 3 square. So you can bring out the 3 times 3. So that becomes 9 square root of 5. So as you can see, your arithmetic skills is very crucial here. How fast can you solve? That matters. Okay. Now, square root of 80. 80 is 16 times 5. So therefore, that's going to be 4 square root of 5. And then square root of 125, that's 5 cubed technically. So that's like 25 times 5, or 5 square root of 5. Since these are all with square root of 5, so they're all similar. So we just simply add the coefficient. So that's 4 minus 9 plus 4 minus 5. Okay. So the way that I'll do it here is like 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 minus 9 is negative 1. Minus 5, that's negative 6. So we have the answer of negative 6 square root of 5. Any question, clarification here? Okay then. Let us try a different type of question then. Okay? Okay, let's try this one next. Are we all ready for a 1-minute question again? But this one should be, actually it should be just 30 seconds. Okay, just 30 seconds for this one. Okay. So we have an answer. Let's see if that's the correct answer. We have 2 different answers now. Okay, let's check. What's the answer here? Ta-da! The answer is letter D. How come it's letter D? Let's check. Look, we have here 3 similar number in a sense. No? 9 cubed, 9 cubed, 9 cubed. If you look at them as like a variable, it's like a plus a plus a. So what is a plus a plus a if ever? The answer there will be your 3a. It's like saying that this is just the same thing as 3 times 9 cubed. That's the faster way. From there, the 9 cubed can be brought out sa cube root natin. So that will leave us 9 cube root of 3. So as you can see, you can even do this mentally in less than 10 seconds if alam natin kung anong gagawin natin. Okay? Any question on this one? Clarification? Okay, sige. A follow-up question on this. Are we ready with your pen and paper? 30 seconds lang ulit, ha? 30 seconds lang ulit. Go. Okay, time's up. So, we all have similar answers. Okay, so let's take a look. That is your letter A. Very good. So, we're good with this. No? You get the strategy already. Okay, very good about that. Okay, if you like me to go over this, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll just move on to the next. Okay, then next, let's try a different question here. Just a different variation of this type of question. Okay, ready? Okay. I think 30 seconds also. Para masanay na kayo sa What's the answer here? Ta-da! Letter A. Wow, majority got this right. Okay. Why is it A? Bakit siya naging A? Para sa game showdown. Oo, syempre. Ito. May sound effect kayo narinig? Okay. Para may premyo. Yeah, pwede. Punta kayo sa Axe. Bigyan ka namin ng premyo. So, how do we get to this answer here? So, you want this to be in exponential form. Parang pinakamadali, you just bring everything back inside. Okay? Bring everything back inside. Ang pinakamadali. Or, it depends kasi kung ano yung, saan yung mas comfortable kayo. Mas comfortable ba kayo on the rational exponent? Mas comfortable kayo with radicals. Personally, I'm more comfortable with radicals. Okay? Why? Look. Si x, ipapasok ko lang siya sa loob ng cube root. Kung paano ko siya nailabas, ganoon din ko siya ibabalik. So the reason why it's x now on the outside, that's because when you bring it inside back, no, it should be cube of x. That's the same thing as square root of cube root of x times x cube. Okay? X cube. You follow? So therefore, this is now square root of cube root of x to the fourth. Okay? Now, anong gagawin natin sa square root and cube root? Paano ba yan? We can now convert this now to a rational exponent so that you can see it better. Pag rational exponent ng square root, that is the same thing as 1/2. Tama? So that is everything raised to the 1/2. But inside the square root, may another cube root. So that means another parenthesis here, and this time around, raised to the 1/3. So, ano naman naka-raised to the 1/3? That will be x to the fourth. What do we do with the exponents here? Since being raised, it will now be your multiplication. So when you multiply all the exponents, it's like 4 over 6 or simply 2/3 when you lowest term them. Kaya answer natin is your letter A. Okay? Clarification dito sa atin? Okay. Sige. So, I think okay naman tayo dito in general, no? So, hindi naman kaya kahirap. Okay. Another variation on this particular topic. Oh, ready na tayo? Kasi in the exam, it's just that the same feeling. 30 seconds, 1 minute, that's all you have. So, if you can beat the time and answer everything correctly, that means you are prepared for this topic in that exam. Ganun lang tayo, ha? Sige. Next question here. Okay, yan. Sige, I'll give you 1 minute na for this. Baka iba medyo maguluhan na konti. Let's have 1 minute. Yeah. You have answers already. You have 10 seconds left. If this is the actual exam, paano yan? Okay. So, time's up. Okay, para-parehas ang sagot natin. Tingnan nga natin kung tama nga na 1. Letter A ang sagot. Sana. Letter A. Very good. Meron bang gusto na ma-explain natin to? Or I'll move on to the next na. Medyo nakuha nyo na yung strategy. Yes? Okay, sige. Explain lang natin ng konti. Okay, everything is raised to the 4/3. Yeah, confusing siya konti. Yes, very true naman. It's how familiar are you with the laws of exponents? Lalo pagka naghalo-halo na, especially when it's exam time, with added pressure, with stress, mabablock out tayo. Paano kayo hindi mabablock black out. You can always go back to the basic and give yourself a basic example to help you to remember. So going back here to the math part. So first, i-simplify natin muna yung sa loob para mas madali. So ano bang gagawin natin dapat sa kanila? Since they're all being multiplied, so we simply add the exponents. That's gonna be x to the 7. So if I'm gonna rewrite this, it's like 4th root of x to the 7 and then raised to the 4th third. 4th root of x to the 7, we can express that in rational exponent form. And that will become what? X to the 7 over 4. If that's x to the 7 over 4 raised to the 4th third, we can now multiply the exponents. So therefore, we can lowest term the 4. It will be left with x to the 7 over 3. Or if you write that in mixed number, that's gonna be 2 and 1/3. So ibig sabihin lang nun, yung 2 na yun yung nasa labas ng radical. And what will be left is cube root because it's over 3. And you have 1 left kaya cube root of x. That's why the answer is x squared cube root of x or your letter. So clear na tayo dito? Okay, one last on this one and then we'll move on to the next question. Here, yan, medyo iba. Go. Five seconds. So, what's your answer? Oh, iba-iba. Okay. Ano kaya ang tamang sagot? The answer is letter A. For those who answered letter A, congratulations! Paano siya naging ganyan? E di mag-start muna tayo. Paano muna hanapin natin si P? The best thing here is lipat natin si P to the other side. From negative, it becomes positive. So that tells us that the square root of 3 should be drawn to the other side. So mangyayari ngayon is 5 minus square root of 3 is actually your P. So if that's your P, is-square na lang natin both sides to get your P square. So P square therefore will be the square of 5 minus square root of 3. So when you square that, ano mangyayari na ngayon? So that's your A square minus 2AB plus B square. So that's your special product that you need to be familiarized. So A square, that will be 5 square or 25 minus 2 times 5 times square root of 3. That's gonna be 10 square root of 3. And then the square of 3, that will be 3. So therefore, P square will be 25 plus 3 or 28 minus 10. So that's why ang sagot natin dito ay letter A. Okay? Question? Clarification tayo? Okay ba tayo na? Paano ba ulit? Oh, sorry. Okay. Again, which part? Are we good with arriving dito? Okay? Pag okay tayo doon, good. Okay. Pag okay tayo doon, that means is-square natin ngayon both sides of the equation to be able to get your P square. So ngayon, paano ba ito nakuha? We have to remember your A minus B quantity square. Okay? This is a special product that is very crucial. So this is A square minus 2AB plus B square. Okay? So pag ganyan yan, that means 5 minus square root of 3 square. That is like 5 square minus 2 times 5 times square root of 3 plus square root of 3 square. Ayan. So mangyayari dyan, yun na. 5 square is 25. This is now 10 square root of 3. This is now. And pag pinagsama natin yan, magiging 28 na sila. I hope na-gets natin yung explanation. Any question here? Okay na tayo? In case that you might find the questions that we have here a bit more complicated or a bit more difficult than say what you can find in other nagdi-discuss also either live or recorded, just like you to know that all these questions are designed by the staff of AX Achin Aya, and we have been in this review industry for the past 26 years, and we have somewhat very good forecast pagdating sa mga entrance exams. Kung ganito ba kahirap in actual? Yes. Pero lahat ba ng questions ay ganito kahirap? No. So sabihin natin out of 45 questions, I would say siguro less than 10 lang ang madali. Yung madali na alam mong kayang-kaya natin without even reviewing. Pero in the rest, these are more or less patterned after actual questions. So kung gusto nyo na talagang close to the actual, this is as close that you can get. So now, let's move on to the next question. So ready na tayo for question number 7? Okay, so
Forecast number 7.
Okay, yun. Itong question number 7, this is now about special products, factoring, and rational expressions. Let's try 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so we have different answers. So again, pag hindi pa tayo ready, pagdating sa actual na time pressure, it's okay. You still have a month to work on it, okay? Tingnan natin nga kung tama ang sagot natin. So the answer here is letter B. Congratulations! Let's go over doon sa mga hindi nakakuha para maintindihan natin, no? Para next time, kuha na natin to. So we have 2x minus 3 times 2 minus 3x quantity square. Gusto natin makuha dito ay yung term ng x square. Ano daw yung numerical coefficient ng x square? Paano natin malalaman si x square? Kailangan naman i-times natin lahat. Tapos na yung 1 minute mo, hindi ka pa rin tapos yan for sure. Okay, so the strategy here is actually this. Split natin muna si square para mas mabilis makita. 2 minus 3x times 2 minus 3x. So, para makuha natin yung term ng x square, that means may dalawang x ka dapat doon sa term na yun. Alam natin, pag meron kang 2 terms by 2 terms by 2 terms, literally, i-match mo lang ito isa-isa. Para ma-picture niya lang, it's like 2x, negative 3, 2, negative 3x, 2, negative 3x. Ano mangyayari sa kanila? Oh, si 2x times 2 times 2. Yan yung isa. Then, 2x times 2 times 3x times negative 3x, that's the other one. Pwede ka rin magkaroon ng 2x times negative 3x times 2. Pwede ka rin maging 2x times negative 3x times negative 3x. And same goes with the other one here. Ganun din. So, lahat yan, it's 2 times 2 times 2. 8 na lalabas na terms yan lalabas lahat. Now, out of these 8 terms, alin dyan kaya ang may x squared? So, paano natin malalaman yun? It's actually quite simple. One of the factors is 2x, for example. No, sa next 2 mo, meron ka pa dapat isang x, and meron isa naman, dapat wala siyang x. Kunyari, si 2x, pumatch natin muna kay 2. Ang kailangan natin, maging x to the second power. Kaya yung last term natin dapat ay negative 3x. 2 times 2 times negative 3, that's now negative 12x squared. So that's one of the terms. Another possibility, ano pa? Si 2x yung una, then syempre, wala na ibang, hindi na pwede si 2, so pwede lang si negative 3x. Pag si negative 3x siya, you can only have the 2. And you will notice it's also negative 12x square. E paano naman pag sa negative 3 ka naman nag-start? Pag sa negative 3 ka naman nag-start, ano dapat ang mangyari? Kung yung una walang x, edi itong next 2 dapat parehong merong x. Hindi pwedeng wala. So that means times negative 3x times negative 3x. So negative 3 cubed, that's going to be negative 27x square. Then from there, so negative 12, and negative 27, that will add up to negative 51x squared. So that's why the answer here is your letter B. The coefficient is negative 51. Nakuha ba natin? Question tayo, clarification. I'm here ready to answer your questions. Any comment? Gets na natin? Or try pa tayo isa? If you want to try another question, please type one more. Ayan, thank you, James. Meron pa bang iba? Well, ayan, thank you. Thank you, Bea. Okay, thank you, Ken. Here is the other one. Okay, let's try for 1 minute. Okay, sorry. Na-mute ko pala. So, nagets natin to. So far, tama yung mga sagot ng mga naglagay ng answer sa chat. Do you want us to go over this again? Clarification? Okay na tayo dito. Kuha na natin ha. So, we'll move on to the next na. Okay, sige. Let's move on to the next. Hindi ko na kailangan explain, no? We're good na. Next variation of question, ha? Okay, tingnan natin. Ready na tayo? 1 minute? Okay, sige. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. 20 seconds. Okay. Okay, time's up. The answer here is letter B. Okay, if your answer is letter D, you're almost there. Okay, konti na lang. So how do we go about with this particular question? If the product of two positive numbers is 12, okay, let them be x and y. So let's say x times y is 12. And then sabi niya, and the sum of their squares is 40. So how do you write down the sum of their squares? So the square of x is x squared, the square of y is y squared, and the sum, that means it's x squared plus y squared. And that will be equal to 40. Now, what is the sum of the two numbers? So, ang pinapahanap sa atin ngayon ay si x. Ano daw ang value ni x plus y? Now, look, the information that we have is x squared plus y squared and xy. But what we are looking for is x plus y. So, paano natin kaya kukunin si x plus y? Saan natin kaya siya kukunin? How can we relate x plus y with x squared plus y squared with xy? So, I hope that you can find a relationship doon. We can use the special product of x plus y quantity squared, which will be equal to x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. So, that means, etong x squared plus y squared, that is 40 ba? So, 40 yan. Plus 2xy. Dalawang xy, xy is 12. So, therefore, this is now 2 times 12 is 24 plus 40, that's gonna be 64. And that is your x plus y. Kaya sabi ko, if your answer is letter D, so if x plus y square is 64, what then is your x plus y? X plus y, therefore, will now become 8. Kaya sabihin natin naman, hindi pa positive negative 8, dapat kasi nag-square at both sides. Because in the question here, notice that it says here, two positive numbers ng sinabi niya. Okay? Very good, James. Clear tayo? Question? Okay, let's try another one similar to this. Okay? Try nyo sagutan. So this one, okay, 1 minute. For those who just came in, just try to answer the question. Ready your pen and paper. Okay, imagine that this is the actual UPCAT already. Okay, and the questions that we have here are more or less UPCAT questions, real UPCAT questions. Okay, time's up. Let's see kung anong sagot natin dito. Letter A. So majority got this right. Strategy is just the same. If the product of two positive numbers is 14, so that means xy is 14. And the sum of their squares is 53, so that's x squared plus y squared is equals to 53. Which of the following could be the value of the difference between the two numbers? So we're looking for x minus y is what we're looking for. Therefore, the special product that we'll be using here here will be x minus y quantity square. That's going to be equal to x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So x squared plus y squared, that is your 53. Minus 2 times xy. Xy natin is 14, right? So magiging ngayon 53 minus 28 or simply 25. So x minus y squared is 25. Kaya kung sagot mo is letter B, konti na lang nga. So don't forget that we're looking for x minus y and not x minus y quantity squared. So therefore, square at both sides, we'll be able to get 5 or possibly also negative 5. Any question? Clarification here? Okay? Yes, no worries. Okay lang makalimutan dito. Huwag lang makalimutan sa actual exam, ha? Okay, next tayo. Try natin yan itong variation naman. Yan. So again, let's give you 1 minute for this one. Okay? Again, please help share to your friends. Okay? Kung gusto nila mag-aral ng UPCAT. Okay. Time's up. So we have your 2x squared minus 2y squared equals to 100. And that x minus y is equals to 5. We're looking for x plus y. Okay? Since wala sa inyo naglagay ng sagot, di muna ako mag-share ng final answer. No? So let's go over na lang. Notice that the whole thing, the whole equation here are all divisible by 2. So we can divide everything by 2. So we'll end up with x squared minus y squared is equals to 50. And again, you need to remember the special product of x squared minus y squared. And what is that? That x squared minus y squared will be equals to the sum in difference. So x plus y times x minus. That means your x plus y times x minus y is actually equal to 50. So 50 sila, x minus y is 5. So that tells us that it's 5 times x plus y is now equal to 50. Which when you want divide both by 5, we now get x plus y is equal to 10. Okay, ang sagot natin dito ay si letter C. Yes. So yun nga, no? So imagine nyo, pag first time nyo nakita ito sa actual UPCAT, so how will you be able to react? Diba? As 1 minute lang meron natin. Kaya nga, very important talaga yung experience natin. Sige. Let's take a look at another variation pa. Okay? Ready na tayo? Okay. This one. Dapat ito, 30 seconds lang. 30 seconds lang. Answer, different answers. Okay, sige. The answer here is, tanan. Nako, wala sa mga sagot natin. How do you go about, since 4 terms tayo, it's more than 3 terms. So, hindi lang siya yung mga special products lang. So, that means it's factoring by grouping. Paano natin gag-group ito? You're gonna group them into 2 groups. Ano na bang mga different ways to group them? Eh, di ba? Dalawa, tatlo, isa. Yun lang naman possible, right? In this case, we can observe that it will be 2, 2. Very crucial dyan is yung mga coefficients natin. For example, 1m cubed, 2m squared. That 1 is to 2. How about dito sa kabila? Negative 4 is to negative 8. That's like 1 is to 2 also. Since the coefficients have the same ratio, then that is now the way to group them. So kaya ang the way na pag-group natin dito ay m cubed and 2m squared together. And we can now actually have negative factored out of the group here. So that will be 4m. And don't forget to change the sign of 8 to become positive 8. And then, ano gagawin natin? Gagawin natin ngayon ay common factor sa bawat isa. So, m cubed and 2m squared, they have a common factor of m squared. And what will be left is your m plus 2. And on the second group, 4 and 8 will have a common factor of 4. So what will be left inside will be your m plus. Now, ano mapapansin natin? Meron silang parehas na factor na m plus 2. So since they have a group common factor of m plus 2, pwede na ngayon natin i-factor sila out using m plus 2. So ang may iwan sa ngayon, m squared times m plus 2 divided by m plus 2, that will give us m squared. Negative 4 times m plus 2 divided by m plus 2, that will give us minus 4. Now, we have to factor completely. The m squared minus 4 is in the form of a squared minus b squared. So the difference of two squares, hindi pa tayo tapos. That will be like the square of m minus the square of 2. So therefore, the sum of m plus 2 and the difference of m and 2. Or we can simplify this further into m plus 2 square times m minus 2. Questions here? Clarification tayo? So thank you for liking the live. So kung may matulungan pa tayo sa mga ibang mga students, kindly help, share. Wag na kayo mag-gatekeep ha. Tulungan natin yung mga ibang tao naman. Okay? Are we good with this one? Any question, clarification do we need? One last different type of question that you can have here. Very important daw ito. Kasi lumabas to dati sa UPCAT. Handa na kayo? Here we go. 1 minute. Okay. Try to answer this question. This is the actual UPCAT questions. Or these were. Ano kayang sagot dito? Iba-iba ang mga sagot natin. Okay, time's up. Tingnan natin kung anong tamang sagot. So, sinasabi niya is, what is the reciprocal of that particular term? Right? So, when you say reciprocal, we have to do the 1 divided by. So, magiging 1, okay, the whole thing na nakalagay dyan. So, that's like a times b to the negative 1 plus b times a to the negative 1. Personally, I don't like to have the negative exponent in dealing with this. So, let's remove the negative exponent by making them to become fraction. Okay? So, paano mangyari dyan? So, that will become b to the negative 1. That means b mapupunta sa denominator. So, from a times b to the negative 1 will now become a over b. And dun sa other side naman, magiging b over a. Then, we try to simplify your denominator. The LCD of a and b will simply be your a, b. So, numerator of each of those will now become a squared plus b squared. Question on this? Okay, medyo na-confused. Can you clarify saang part tayo? Na-confused ba kayo dito sa a over b plus b over a? Paano siya naging ganito? Yan yung part na yun ba? Paano siya naging squared? Okay, very good. So, since yung denominator natin si b tsaka si a, so ang LCD, when you say LCD, so that's the denominator that we have. Ganito lang siya, no? Para maintindihan natin ng mas maintindihan pa natin. Si a over b, para maging AB si a over b, anong gagawin natin kay AB? Anong gagawin natin dito? Times natin ng a over a para maging AB yung denominator natin. So if it's a over a, that means dito magiging a square over ab. Si b over a naman, anong gagawin natin? Times mo natin naman ng b over b. So mangyayari na ngayon is ab sa denominator and numerator now becomes b square. Kaya pwede na natin sila pagsamahan into a square plus b square over, okay na tayo, okay, good. So from here, pag 1 over siya, anong gagawin natin pag 1 over? Basically, di ba, reciprocal lang natin siya, right? So magiging ab over a square plus b square. Kaya ito ngayon ang sagot natin dito, which is your letter C. Any question? Clarification dito? Meron ba tayong... Sige. May mga guest ako dito. Okay, so questions here, clarification, okay na tayo dyan. So, etong question na ito, very crucial ha. One more question like this and then we'll move on to the next. Although medyo behind schedule ako, baka magdagdag pa ako ng live schedule pa yata. Kulang pa yata. Next tayo, next number. Okay, 1 minute again. Ang tabunan ng comments, yung alin? Ano yung natatabunan ng comments? Can you clarify kung ano natatabunan ng comments? Okay, may mga answer na tayo. Yung question. I think ang strategy dyan is parang i-full screen mo. Para hindi matakpan yung question. I-full screen mo yung live natin. Tama ba? Yung mga iba, ganun ba yung ginagawa natin para hindi matakpan? Okay? Yun lang talaga. Okay. So, time is up. The answers that are being shown here almost are all C. Tignan natin, tama bang sagot nila? Letter C nga ba? Very good. Okay, majority nakuha ang sagot.
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Okay, so paano ba gagawin yan? So, pag may negative 1 exponent tayo na ganito, so what very important here is yung inside that parenthesis should only be a single term. A single fraction lang. Kasi pag single fraction na lang siya, alam natin pag may negative 1 ka, reciprocal na lang gagawin mo sa kanila. Right? So, yun ang very important. So, paano natin gagawin yun? So, etong dalawang x over y minus 2, we need to be able to combine them into a single fraction. 2 is just like 2 divided by 1, right? So, the LCD of y and 1 is simply your y. So, pag y yung denominator natin, si x will still be x, pero si 2, ano mangyayari na kay 2? Di ba dapat magiging 2y over y siya, or simply 2y raised to the negative 1. And since negative 1 nga sabi natin, so kailangan mo sila i-reciprocate. So, the answer here therefore will just be y over x minus 2y. Kaya the answer here is your letter C. Nakuha natin so far? So far, majority naman nakakuha. Okay? Okay, very good. Sige. So, we're done with the forecast question number 7. We'll be now moving on. Ready na ba tayo sa question number 8? Kung ready na tayo.
Forecast number 8.
Question number 8. Ayan, tinan natin kung masasagutan nyo in 1 minute. Linear equation, one variable linear equation, and literal equations. Kakaiba ng konti yung mga question nyo. Tingnan natin. Okay, so time's up. Oh, hindi ko muna na-reveal na lang yung sagot. Okay, let's go over the solution first. Delta n, parang actually this is similar to our forecast question number 1 back then. So that's equals to 2m plus n. Pero parang in-apply lang siya to linear equation. And then at the same time, so kung pag this is equals to 2m plus n. And parang sinabi niya na 3 delta x delta 2 is actually equal to 18. What's the value of x? Let's follow instructions lang. M delta n. Saan natin ma-apply si M delta n? We will have to start with the parentheses because of the PEMDAS. 3 delta x therefore now become 2 times 3 plus x, right? Which is gonna be 6 plus x. Okay? Therefore, it's now gonna be 6 plus x delta 2. Ganun na mangyari ngayon. So, what's 6 plus x delta 2? That's gonna be 2 times 6 plus x plus 2. So that's going to be 12 plus 2x plus 2, or simply 14 plus 2x. So if this is 14 plus 2x, that is basically this whole thing on the left side. So that tells us that 14 plus 2x should be equal to 18. So we can solve that now. 2x is equals to 18 minus 14, or simply 4. That's why x here is actually equal to 2. Kaya ang sagot natin dito ay si letter A. Okay? So it's nagkaroon ng application lang. Parang mukha lang siyang mas magulo. Pero makita nyo na if you know what to do, this should not be an issue. Okay? Pero pag first time nakita kayo ng question na ganito, so matataranta na lang kayo mismo sa actual exam. And that's what we want to avoid. Okay. Sige. So we're good with that. Let's move on to the other variation that we have here. Okay. Let's take a look at this particular one. Let's time this just 30 seconds. Time's up. I think this should not be something very new to you. I think may nakikita na kayo ng ganitong klaseng question. The answer here is letter C. Ang gusto natin ma-solve here is that we want to solve for the x in terms of r and y. When you want to solve for x, that means x is the one that you want to be isolated. So, paano natin gagawin yan? So, gusto natin itong si 1 over x na ito, ang may iwan lang on one side of the equation. Pwede mo ilipat si 1 over x, pero since nandiyan na siya na positive na siya, iwan mo na siya sa right side. Move mo na lang si 1 over y. It's now gonna be 1 over r minus 1 over y is equal to your 1 over x. Gusto natin makuha si x. Kung ayaw nyo ng fraction, multiply natin by LCD. Maraming paraan. It really depends. No? Here, I'm gonna show you one strategy since 1 over x lang naman ang pinapakuha dito. I mean, si x lang naman. So, mas madali pa to. So, on the left side of the equation, I have 1 over r minus 1 over y. I'll combine these two fractions into a single fraction. So, paano ito gagawin? The LCD, therefore, will be just the product of r and y. So, ano magiging numerator natin? Si r, kulang pa siya ng y. Kaya times natin ng y over y. So, magiging y na lang sa numerator. Minus, si y yung denominator niya. Therefore, kulang pa si r. Kaya kailangan natin times r over r. So, magiging r dito. So, y minus r over ry is equals to 1 over x. And sabi natin, kung 1 over x yan, paano natin kukunan si x? E di babalik ta rin lang natin para makuha ngayon natin si x, right? Reciprocate both sides of the equation. So, magiging x over 1 na sa right side. On the left side, it will now become ry over y minus r. So, dyan, mayroon tayong sagot na x, which is ry over y minus r, which is your letter C. So, yan pa yung isang very possible na ilalabas. Very possible siyang ilalabas sa actual exam. Okay, now, let's move on. Yan. Sige, 1 minute. Okay, so may sagot na ba? Sige nga, tingnan natin nga kung tama sa CG. Let's check. Okay, iba yung sagot ni James. The answer here is letter D. Okay, congratulations, CG and Aladdin. Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Yes. So, paano siya naging ganyan? No? Sabi niya dito kasi, if x is equal to 13 more than 4 times y, so x is 13 more than 4 times of y. And z is equal to 2 times of x. Then what is the relationship between y and z? So you want to relate y and z. Pag gusto natin ma-relate si y and z, ano ibig sabihin lang nun? Sino ang dapat mawala? Dapat si x, di ba? Dapat si x ang mawala. Okay, so paano natin gagawin to? Since z equals to 2x, you replace x here with this whole thing. So magiging z is equal to 2 times 4y plus 13. Yes. Okay? So therefore, z now is equals to 8y plus 26. Okay? That it will be your letter D, which is z is 26 more than 8 times of y. Questions? Clarification here? Okay, so we're done with forecast question number 8. So now we'll move on to forecast number 9.
Forecast number 9.
Question number 9. This is about linear inequalities and absolute value equations or even inequalities pa nga yan. Okay? Okay ba kayo dito sa topic na ito? Malalaman natin. Okay? 1 minute. Check it out. Five seconds. Wala pong may sagot ha. We just write down the question while waiting for any answer here. So may answer na isa. So if you're confused here, how do we go about? So what we do here right now is first, let's try to solve this inequality so that we can compare to the choices. So let's remove the parentheses by distribution of the coefficients. So making 6x minus 10 minus 9 greater than 12x plus 4. And then, to solve linear inequality, lahat ng may x to the left side, lahat ng walang x to the other side. So therefore, it's now going to be 6x minus 12x on the left side, while on the right side, it will be 4 plus 10 plus 9. So that means 6 minus 12 is now negative 6x, and then greater than 4 plus 10 plus 9, that's now going to be 23. To solve this now, we have to isolate the x. So we have to divide both sides with negative 6. Anong gagawin natin pag nag-divide tayo or multiply or divide tayo ng negative number sa inequality? Can you type on the chat box? Ano gagawin natin dapat? Yes, switch sign or change the sign. Change the relationship actually. Kasi yung greater than or less than, technically din naman sila sign. Okay? So magiging x now should be less than negative 23 over 6. Now, para makita natin ng malinaw what's 23 over 6 equivalent to. So let's convert that to a mixed number. So that's going to be negative 3 and 5 over 6. Ibig sabihin, the answer to this inequality will be all values of x that are less than negative 3 and 5 over 6. Okay? Yan yung solution natin. Ngayon, ang question natin dito kasi, which of the following intervals is not completely contained within the solution set of the given inequality? Ibig sabihin, yung interval na nandyan sa mga choices, alin dyan ang hindi buong interval na yun ay kasama doon sa solution set. Para hindi kayo malito, ganito. If you write it in interval notation, it's from negative infinity to negative 3 and 5 over 6. Now, letter A. The question ngayon is, sinong mas malaki? Si negative 4 o si negative 3 and 5 over 6? Then, pag nilito kayo ng I, then you go back to the basic. Between negative 1 and negative 2, sino bang mas malaking value? So, the larger the negative number, the smaller the value. Kaya when you're comparing negative 3 and 5 over 6 ka negative 4, si 4 ay mas maliit yung value ni negative 4. Kaya the whole interval of negative infinity to negative 4 is part of this interval of negative infinity to negative 3 and 5 over 6. Clear? Now, how about the second one? From negative 10 to negative 5. Another perspective is draw the line. So, negative 3 and 5 over 6 is somewhere here, for example. Let's say 0 is here. This represents negative 10 somewhere here. Since negative 5, it dapat somewhere here. So, itong buong interval ba negative 10 to negative 5? Kasama ba siya sa inequality na ito? Yes, di ba? How about letter C? Negative infinity to negative 3. Negative infinity to negative 3, ang sagot dito. Bakit? Kasi nga, not completely. Partially, from negative infinity to negative 3, di ba? Yan yung kasama ng interval. Pero negative 3 and 5 over 6 to negative 3, hindi na siya part of the solution. Kaya nga, the whole interval, a portion of it is a solution, a portion of it is not. So the answer, that's why it's letter C. Bakit hindi siya letter D? Negative 3 to infinity, that's like from here to here. Ano masasabi natin dyan? The whole interval is not a solution. So hindi siya yung not completely contained. Okay tayo? Question? Sige. Let's try another possible variation. Let's try another possible question about linear inequalities and absolute value equation. Okay. So again, this one, I'll give you 1 minute first to try it out. 1 minute. Time's up. Wala pang naka-answer. Do you know how to go about? You can be honest to say na, oh, talagang, paano ba gawin ganitong klaseng question? Di ko talaga alam. Oh, may sagot. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's take a look at your answers if they are correct. The answer is actually, ayun. Very good. Letter A ang sagot. So, okay naman, no idea. Kasi ang important is that alam nyo na hindi nyo alam. So, alam nyo na kailangan nyo alamin. So, the question is, will you be ready to face this kind of question? So, let's find out. So, this is about compound inequality. When I say compound inequality, it's like meron kang dalawang inequality that you need to satisfy both of them. So, paano natin gagawin yun? First, what's the first inequality that we need to satisfy? We need to satisfy 4 minus 5x is less than equal to 19. Then, the second inequality na kailangan satisfy natin is 3 times 2 plus x is less than 6. So let's solve them separately muna. From here, we have negative 5x less than equal to, yung 4 lipat natin, magiging 15. Divide both by negative 5. Ano mangyayari pag divide both by negative 5? X, therefore, have to switch the relationship from less than to greater than equal to. And then this now becomes negative 3. So yun yung sa left side na inequality. How about the right side? So we can divide both sides by 3 on the right side. So it will be left with 2 plus x is less than 2. And therefore, x will be less than 0. Okay? So we need to satisfy both of them. Anong values of x that will satisfy both inequality? Para ma-picture nyo lang. So if we have here to be negative 3, if we have here to be 0, when we say x greater than equal to negative 3, anong itsura? Sino yung mga values ng x that will satisfy this inequality? Lahat ng x that is equal to negative 3 or greater than negative 3. Equal to negative 3, shade natin siya dito. And then greater than negative 3, therefore, everything to the right. How about the other one? X less than 0. That means hindi kasama si 0, right? Kaya naka-hollow circle kasi hindi siya kasama. And less than 0, that means everything to the left side. So yan yung solution set naman natin. So kailangan natin mahanap saan ba si x ay satisfied sa parehas. Mahati natin to into 3 intervals. So saan ba sila nagkakaparehas? So that means that is this particular interval here. So if dyan nagsasatisfy both of them, how do we write down that particular interval? That will have to be from negative 3 to 0. Correct naman? But let's be careful. Now, the question is negative 3 included. So, dito sa una included. Dito sa pangalawa also included. That's why your negative 3 is included. That's why we use the, okay, that means kasama siya. Okay? Now, dito sa other side naman, si 0 dito included. Pero dito sa x less than 0, hindi siya kasama. Dahil hindi siya kasama, we have to exclude the point 0. That means we should not use bracket. Instead, we should use parenthesis. Kaya, CG, you have the right concept. Yung sa mga symbols na lang kailangan maingat lang na ng konti. So, yun yung iwasan na lang natin konti to commit the mistake. Naintindihan ba natin, everyone here? Do we understand the strategy? It's already 10 o'clock. Time check. Normally, 2 hours lang tayo kasi baka saturated na lahat ng mga students nandito. No, based on our pacing, I don't think that's really realistic. Don't worry. I'll still continue finishing number 9. I'll see what to do. There's a chance that I might add live sessions. Just a quick survey lang, at least for those who are here. Do you have any preferred time to go live? Is like the 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. a good time? Or will it be better like if it's like, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, baka kakauwi nyo lang yun eh. So let me know on the chat. Okay, good na. So from here, let's have another question here. Ready? Medyo mahaba yung question, pero hindi naman. Kaya naman. Okay, so 1 minute for this. Okay, ganyan muna. Okay. So try to answer. So time's up so far. So let's see if tama yung sagot natin. The answer nyo is letter D. Correct. Okay. Pero gaano katagal nyo sinagutan ang question na ito? Right? I think it's more than 30 seconds or 45 seconds, right? Okay. And let me ask, did you try to get the sum of 88, 92, 85? Ganyan, inad nyo pa isa-isa? Tama ba nga? Yun ang ginawa natin? Okay. Let me show you another way, okay? Na para mas bumilis. So, ang gusto natin sa question na ito is to get an average of 90. Ngayon, ang mga exams na meron natin is 88, 92, 85. The question is, ano daw yung minimum score niya doon sa next exam niya? So, ano yung minimum na score niya dito? Para makuha yung scholarship, if goal niya is 90 nga, para makakuha ng scholarship. Ganito, kung first exam mo is 88 at average sa kailangan mo is 90, kulang ka pa, di ba? How many points do you lack para maging 90 yung score mo doon sa first exam? Can you type on the chat? 2. Diba? Kulang ka ng 2 points, right? So, pwede sabihin natin dito muna, negative 2 muna ako. May utang ako na 2. Kailangan kong bawiin itong 2 points na ito para maging 90. Correct? Now, you move on to the second exam. 92 ang score ko sa second exam. So, ilan naman ngayon ang, 92. 90 ang kailangan ko. Lumampas na ako. So, lumampas ako ng ilan naman? I now have 2 more. So, parang technically, negative 2 and 2, nabawi ko na yung negative 2 ko. You get the picture? Now, we move on to the third, 85. Ilan naman ang kulang natin na naman ngayon? Kulang tayo ngayon ng how many? We now lack 5 points, di ba? Ay, kung kulang ka ng 5 points, ano dapat na mangyari ngayon? Adi, kailangan mo bawiin doon sa last exam mo. So, therefore, it has to be 90 plus 5, which is 95. Di ba? Parang, if you look at this perspective, it's going to be a lot easier. The numbers are a lot smaller. So it's really how you approach in solving the problem. So i-practice nyo to in getting actually how to solve an average problem. Sige, one more. Baka mga 2 or 3 more pa ng under this forecast number 9. Sige, let's take a look at the next question here. Ayan, tingnan nyo. Next question, 1 minute. Application pa din. Okay. So for those who just came in, we're teaching students how to face UPCAT math problems. Yung totoong UPCAT math problems. Lagyan na natin itong konting music. Baka antokin na tayo lahat. So, time is up. Kung may sagot tayo dito na isa pa lang. How about the others? Is the answer letter C? Okay, the answer here is letter C. Very good, CG. Okay. Kevin wants to buy a laptop that costs 26,500 pesos. Now, he already has a savings of 5,000 pesos. May 5,000 na pala siya. O di bawasan natin yung 5,000 doon sa kailangan niya pang-ipunan, right? So, that means kailangan pa niyang pang-ipunan is 21,500. Furthermore, it says that, and plans to save an additional 1,500 pesos each week from his part-time job salary. So every week, 1,500. What is the minimum number of weeks that Kevin needs to save to afford the laptop? So ilang 1,500 ang kailangan natin para ma-achieve natin si 21,500. So parang dinidivide natin siya ng 1,500 dito. Parang ganun yung picture. Pero is this exactly divisible? Not necessarily, okay? But how do you go about? How do you divide 21,500 with 1,500? One way, of course, since they're both with two zeros, we can remove the two zeros here. So this is just the same as 215 divided by 15. Since they both end with 5, we can divide both by 5. So 215, therefore that's gonna be 43. And then 15 will now just become 3. So this is now 43 over 3. And we can now make this to become a mixed number. What is now 43 divided by 3. That's gonna be 14, which is 14 times 3 is 42. So therefore, 14 and 1. So pag sinabing 14 and 1/3, ilang weeks yung kailangan? 14 ba o si 15? Kailangan 15 weeks para ma-enough yung budget natin. Umabot ng lalampas na siya ng 21,500. That's why the answer here should be, naintindihan natin, bakit siya naging 15? Hindi siya eksakto. Clarification question, violent reaction. Meron ba tayo ditong violent reaction? Sige. So kung wala naman, let's now move on to the next na. Okay, yan. Tingnan natin. Sige nga, try nyo nga. Time's up. Any answer or clueless kayo? I-solve ang ganitong klaseng inequality. How do we go about? When you're solving absolute value, whether equation or inequality, ang pinaka-goal natin is to isolate that absolute value on one side of the equation or inequality. So gusto natin siya na yung may iwan. So therefore, we have to move the negative 3 here. So that means we have to divide this by negative 3. We divide this also by negative 3. And because you divide by negative 3, so therefore on the left side will be absolute value of 5 plus 2x, and the right side will be negative 1. And what will happen now to the inequality, to the greater than equal to? Because you divide by a negative, from greater than equal to, kailangan natin palitan siya to less than equal to. Now, here is the part where a lot of students get confused. Okay? Absolute value of 5 plus 2x less than equal to negative 1. O di gagawin ko raw, 5 plus 2x less than equal to negative 1. 5 plus 2x is greater than, less than, equal to 1. Yan daw yung gagawin natin. That's the process that you know. But this is not really the right way. You need to interpret first. Look, on the left side of the inequality, it is an absolute value. Now, tell me, absolute values, can you type on the chat box, anong klaseng values lang ang meron sa absolute value? Okay? Tama? Mga positive numbers, but hindi lang siya limited to positive number, meron pa. Meron pang isang very crucial na number that we have to remember. Ano pa kaya yung isang number na pwede siya maging aside from positive numbers? Aside from positive numbers, pwede siya maging number? Yes, it's 0, di ba? Kasi absolute value of 0 is still 0. Is a negative number, which is negative 1. Now, let me ask you, can a positive number or 0 be less than or even equal to a negative 1? No, right? That's why we don't have a solution set, or this is like considered as a null set. Okay? Kaya ang sagot natin dito ay letter C. Good job, CG and Black. So, nagets natin kung how to go about here. Okay, the last question for tonight. Ayan. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so 1 minute is up. Are you okay there? Everyone? Paano sagutin tong question na ito? Alam niyo na ba? How to go about here of the given equation. So, ano muna ibig sabihin ba ng extraneous root? Root of an equation is basically the solution to the equation. So, ano yung mga possible values of x that will make the equation true? Yan ang root. Pero pag sinabi natin extraneous root, from the word extraneous, no? Yes, extra. Very good. So what does the extra mean? Ibig sabihin, extra siya. Hindi siya talagang sagot, pero mukha lang siyang sagot. So we have to first solve for the roots to know about it. So how do you solve an absolute value equation? With the absolute value sign, ang goal natin is to remove that absolute value sign for you to solve. Now, remember, when you have absolute value, say for example, absolute value of 2 will have a value of positive 2. Correct? At the same time, absolute value of negative 2 will also have the value of 2. Okay? So, ano ibig sabihin lang neto? Ibig sabihin neto, yung the one inside can be positive and can be negative, and they will both be the same. Kaya, ang mga pwede natin maging sagot dito is, what if yung one inside is positive? So, therefore, 3x plus 10. Therefore, pag tinanggal natin absolute value, will just be 3x plus 10. Diba? So, that will now be equals to 2x plus 5. But on the other hand, pwede din mangyari na, paano pag negative siya? So, pwede din siya maging negative. Kaya negative of that 3x plus 10 can still be equal to the 2x plus 5. Kaya may dalawang possible answer tayo dito. So, let's solve one by one. On the left side, we can have 3x transpose to 2x. We now have 3x minus 2x is now x. 5 minus 10 is now negative 5. But how about the right side, the other equation? We have now negative 3x, negative 10 is equal to 2x plus 5. Moving the 2x to the left side, we have negative 3x and negative 2 that adds up to negative 5x is equals to negative 10 moved to the right side now becomes positive 10 plus 5 now becomes positive 15. Divide both sides by negative 5. X therefore becomes 15 over 5, which is 3. So that's negative. So it seems to be that we have two answers here. Pero are both candidates really valid? We have to verify. So let's start with negative 5. Pag pinag-in natin si negative 5 to the original equation, anong lalabas? So we will see that absolute value of 3 times negative 5 plus 10 equals to 2 times negative 5 plus 5. Magiging equal ba yung left side at right side of the equation. Let's verify. So that will be equals to negative 15 plus 10 is equals to negative 10 plus 5. So that will give us absolute value of negative 5 equals to negative 5. So what's the value of absolute value of negative 5? That's positive 5. And 5 is not equal to negative 5. Ibig sabihin ay si x equals to negative 5, this is an extraneous root. How about the negative 3? Let's verify naman ang negative 3. So when you plug in negative 3, so 3 times negative 3 plus 10 equal to 2 times negative 3 plus 5. So absolute value of 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 plus 10 is positive 1. And that will be equal to 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. Absolute value of 1 is still 1 and 1 is not equal to negative 1. Kaya itong x equals to negative 3 is also an extraneous root. So both roots are actually extraneous roots. Okay? So that's why the answer here has to be your letter C. So ano ibig sabihin ano yung solution natin sa equation na ito? Both answers are invalid. Since both answers are extraneous roots, therefore wala siyang sagot. So totoong answer ng solution ng equation na ito is a null set, meaning to say no solution. But since we're looking for extraneous root, that's why the extraneous root is basically letter C. X is both negative 5 and negative 3. So, nagets natin dito. Question tayo, clarification. Okay, so I'll go live again on another day. I'll update you aside from every Wednesday. So, definitely I have to add based on the pacing that we are going. But please help me by sharing to more friends of yours, more those who are especially in public school students. That's really my goal of going live. No, yung pinaka-objective ko talaga sa pag-live natin. So, para matulungan lahat sila. So, that will be it for tonight. Thank you everyone for joining me. Okay, again, I hope that I was able to share a thing or two. And also, just like to remind you, I do have a Facebook. Yeah, I do have a Facebook page as well. But at the same time, I do have the YouTube channel. So, lahat ng mga recordings natin, yung mahabang recording, like the whole session, it will be posted in YouTube soon. No? So, yung session 1 natin, na-post na yun. So, if you want to go over again all these discussions, you can check out our YouTube channel for that. No? Nandun lahat. So, thank you everyone. Okay? See you again soon.